Hello, listeners. This is Lee Price.
This is Will Ford from Football 365.
And you're listening smartly to At the Bridge Pod, a Chelsea FC podcast, although I would describe it as the Chelsea FC podcast.
Magical from Eden Hazard. Kai Havertz in the Champions League final. Ivanovic! In the middle, it's just behind him. But it's tapped in by Hakim Ziyech. Matic with the ball driver. Matic takes the net off. Hat-trick hero. Cole Palmer wins an epic, sensational game.
It's time for another episode of At the Bridge Pod, your number one Chelsea FC podcast. Coming up on this episode...
Oh, listener, you already know this episode's going to be full of rants, anger, frustration. I can't wait! Oh, welcome back, everyone, to another episode of At the Bridge Pod. I'm joined in a virtual room filled with some lions. I've got Ollie, I've got Chris. My voice is back. I'm so ready to basically rant today. That's what we're going to do. But wait, it's Friday show on a Good Friday. And question time. What are you looking forward to this weekend, team?
Chocolate.
Yeah.
Chocolate. Yeah, I'm looking for. I'm not really like. I don't celebrate Easter, but I do celebrate eating chocolate. So,
What about you, Chris?
Nice. Not a lot, to be honest. It's a quiet weekend. There's very little. There's no football for me Saturday.
Sorry.
I do have a game on Sunday. Friendly. Playing Birth's team, I think.
Not friendly. All in name only. Not a friendly.
At the Bridge Derby.
Someone said that in the Discord, I think. I'm pretty sure someone did that. Was it on Discord or Twitter? I saw one of it, the At the Bridge Pod Derby.
Yeah, so that's what I'm looking forward to.
Oh, man, I'm going to have to try and find... I swear, I should really... I saw it. I probably liked the tweet, if it was a tweet. It was bloody brilliant, because it came out of nowhere, and I was like, there's a derby? Is there? Missed that one, Jeff. Where is it? I've gone too far back. It's not April 14th. I know someone sent it. Could have been Discord, could have been a DM. I'm not too sure, but yeah, at Bridgepod Derby. But it's Easter weekend. That means the English lower leagues have already given us a feast of football today, from Championship to non-league. So I've decided to head across Europe to find the best fixtures for my games of the weekend to watch. I've got Saturday. Always start with Saturday. It's always helpful. 6 p.m. Ligue 1. We're off to France because second place Monaco hosts sixth place Strasbourg. Don't let the table fool you. There's 3 points separating them. 3 points. Strasbourg are flying high and currently the most informed team in Ligue 1 outside of PSG. So this should be a really bloody good game. 8:30, we're going to Portugal, aren't we? We're going fifth place Vitória de Guimarães taking on Benfica. They're level on points with Sporting CP at the top, Benfica are. And these two sides are on fire, both highly. The best teams in form right now. So I'm expecting a really, really good game. Sunday, now, double header for you. I know the one, I'm going to go with it. 5 p.m, Bologna versus Inter. That's the headline act in Italy. Bologna are chasing the Champions League dream. Inter are climbing into, well, they're pretty much title fight, isn't it? But let's be honest, I know you're not watching that, are you? Because you're going to be watching the Women's Champions League semi-final. Barcelona, Chelsea, first leg, big semi-final. One of the biggest games in the women's football calendar, I think, this season. I think this is a huge
Potential to be one of the biggest games in our history.
Yeah. And we have got a preview, don't worry. We've got a preview coming up. But before we dive into the news, I've got a lot of Shevva shout-outs, if I'm honest, from Spotify. They're always on fire after a Monday. They always are on fire. So I've got how many have I got? I've got six. So Caroline, I think Maresca out. Not a clue who could replace him, as who would want the job now as we are a shambles. Scrap the young player policy, but nurture our academy players. Average age of squad should be 25 to 26. What would be your first act as manager if you were given absolute control of the club? I'd probably just do that thing where I grab the mic and go, fuck Clear Lake. And everyone goes, hey! And then I get fired and a severance package. So I'm happy. I'm winning all day.
I have no idea what I would do. I'd probably throw in Kunku, like firing Kunku out of a cannon into the Turkish league.
Ooh.
My focus would be getting Cole Palmer back.
Has he gone missing?
Yeah, he's gone missing for 15 games, mate.
Fraser, when Maresca first came in, I said he's not the right man and that I'll never blame him but the board for choosing him when there were better managers available. And I'll stand by what I said about you. Yeah. Oh, I still stand by that. What about you? First of all, I don't remember what Fraser said because I don't, but I don't know what I said. I did that tactical video and episode. I think Chris was the one that was the most not convinced, and he was correct.
I was against it from the start.
Well, I'm not disagreeing.
Just like Dewsbury Hall.
Oh, shut up! That episode aged so badly.
Yeah, that aged like milk.
Sinrakor Avik. I hope I pronounced that name right because you are Norwegian. So naturally, straight away, well, you come from Norway, so straight away, Scandinavian. Big up, guys. Your podcast is so funny and I really enjoy listening to it at work. By the way, it's my birthday on Thursday when we play against Legia Warsaw. Would have loved it if we played Molde because then Chelsea could have come to Norway. I am so sorry that Chelsea did that on your birthday.
The first thing I want to say is a happy birthday, and the second thing I want to say is I'm so sorry.
Wow. They should be
that.
Disgusted with themselves, Chelsea should be. On a birthday and you've put up that shit performance. That's appalling. Jay has said, how is Jackson not on your losers list? This is from Monday. I can't remember. What was that game? That was Ipswich, wasn't it? Could have put him on yesterday's list, to be honest. I might have. I'll just tease that later. El House, don't worry, lads. We'll go in for Alex Palmer in the summer. God. Hermanson, whoa, careful there. Or Ramsdale will join the project. Matt Law and Fabrizio will tweet out our link in the next week with relegation keepers.
What? Honestly, I wouldn't be shocked at that.
I like Hermanson, but I totally see your point. And Ramsdale just needs to pick better clubs. Stop picking crap clubs, man.
We're going to get linked with Ramsdale, I guarantee.
Oh, yeah, I would be very surprised if we weren't. Barry,
imagine if 2 of our 3 major signings this summer was teams who got relegated.
What, we just signed the club?
Or just signing players from teams that got relegated, like Ramsdale and Liam Delap. Oh, and then everyone's going, I reckon we should challenge for the title.
And finally, Barry, the best Chelsea pod around, consistently great content. You guys are part of my life and routine. Thank you, by the way. That's nice.
Thank you, Barry.
With the abysmal performance in Europe, when do we call time on Maresca? You're going to find out later. I'm convinced that if we reach the final, if was put in big capital letters, I want to put out, we certainly won't win. Not with his tactics or this mentality. The man fell into this job because of who he worked with, not what he achieved in football. The ownership is proving they do not care about the football team and just about the money. It's disgraceful. Love to you all, Barry. Love to you as well. And
cheers, Barry.
Yeah, we can't disagree. Listeners, I've been sneaking song titles in. I'm not doing it today because I'm really pissed off. And I feel you deserve a actual proper rant from me without any little analysis. No, I've been completely honest. So don't need to worry about your ears today. You don't need to drop a comment. It's fine. But with that, we're going to hit some news. And I, yet again, don't have the thing lined up. But now I do. Always professional on this show. It's that time of the week we're going to check out news you may have missed in the elevator of Chelsea news. Whether Chelsea sign Jadon Sancho permanently or pay a penalty to send him back to United is undecided. Chelsea and Strasbourg have agreed to wait until the end of the season before deciding what to do with Andre Santos. Chelsea have no intention to sell Moise Caicedo in the summer and believe he's one of the best players in the Premier League. Benfica want João Felix on loan. Chelsea are the favourites to sign Jamie Gittins. Renato Vega is going to be available for 30 million this summer. Armando Broja will not be sold on the cheap this summer because Clear Lake believe there is always demand for strikers and expect many suitors for him. And finally, this has nothing to do with sport, but I saw Katy Perry went to space this week. I couldn't, but I somehow missed all that. I've not seen a single person praise it. I've not seen a single person.
I'll be honest, that. We do not care.
No, I was like, what? And then I saw after she'd come out of the capsule thing, and in an interview said I couldn't recommend the experience enough to other people, and I thought it costs $15 million to do it.
What other people, Katie?
I was like, only 50. I did some research. 58 people on Earth have done this. How? I was like, nobody's spending $15 million on an 11-minute roller coaster ride to the sky. They're not. Oh, there is some things from the news I want to talk about. There's two. One's the Club World Cup. I only found that out today. They're not that it's happening. And then some Maresca quotes, but I think we'll do Club World Cup first. This was reported by The Guardian. Although this is real, although the size of the prize pot, funded by a global TV deal with the streaming company DAZN, has led to concerns that the money could destabilise domestic leagues, FIFA is confident that will not prove to be the case. A significant proportion of the prize money will be swallowed up by tax bills, player bonuses, and other operational costs. And for the biggest earning European clubs, their Club World Cup income is replacing revenue they would have made from summer tours. Well, that sounds like a big fucking waste of time.
But hang on, how many players are there that are going to have Club World Cup clauses in their contract? Barely any, surely.
I mean, the tax alone. We're going to make the same money then that we would from 3 cool pre-season friendlies. What this tournament again? It doesn't make any. I genuinely don't care. We will preview it and we'll do it. I couldn't give a shit if we finish bottom or win the thing. I don't care about it.
I'm interested because it's new. It's something different, and you're in it, so we might as well.
Yeah, we said that about the Conference League, and look what that's done.
Yeah,
It's new. Ooh.
In fairness, we've got no chance of winning it anyway. So we're just there to make the numbers up.
I am pretty confident Seattle Sounders will go further. Oh, actually, I've said that group state. Maybe not. The group's not looking great for Sounders, actually. I don't
think we'll get out the group.
Who would got that Tunisian side?
Well, we have no team because one of them got kicked out, didn't they?
Oh, yeah. Do you know what? It's going to be really annoying when they replace that team with like Man United or Ronaldo's team or something.
Well,
to be fair, even if they give us a bye and just void the game, we'd struggle to win that game.
Let me look. Let me just check. I want to just double check the the Seattle Sounders aren't getting out of their group. They got Botafogo. That's doable. Atletico and PSG.
No, that's not happening.
It's not happening. Oh, I'm devastated, but it's not happening. I will talk about the Maresca quotes before the Legia Warsaw game. One in particular was when he was asked whether his style of play can entertain Chelsea fans. And he went, first of all, 100%. And then because I'm not able to do a different style. And honestly, I was so relieved he finally admitted it. Although, it's not like the entire footballing world hadn't already figured it out. It's quite obvious that he has no plan B. I mean, I don't know if you remember, Oliver Glasner openly said in a press conference recently that he already knows exactly how Chelsea's set up. That's how when your manager, who is failing in both results and style, openly says, I don't know what else to do. That's not incompetence. Any top level coach has a plan B. Even the Sunday League gaffer down at the Dog and Pheasant knows, you have to switch things up a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, it's not working. Passing it around the back today. We'll not.
Let's do it again.
Yeah.
Do you know what though? I do have some sympathy for him. Because I just think he's like indicative of a major problem in modern coaching, that younger coaches now it's harped on to younger coaches when they're going through qualifications and things about having a philosophy and a style of play and being so stringent to it that just like coaches do to players now, they don't allow coaches to be creative either, because it's all about having a style and a philosophy, and you have to back it to the hilt, and you shouldn't change for anybody. Like, that's the way that you do things, and you don't adapt. That's what coaches are told now. Like, I think the whole philosophy idea, it's just a buzzword that they jumped on. Someone said once, and everyone jumped on it and went, I have a coaching philosophy as well. I do this. And
But having a coaching philosophy isn't necessarily wrong, but it's just like a coaching philosophy. What it means to me, at least, is like someone says, I like to play attacking, or I like to have a solid defense first. And then everything else comes from that, rather than I play a 3-2-2-3 and I always invert the fullback like that. That's not a philosophy. That's a blueprint.
Yeah. What top coaches do is they adapt to games, situations, players who are available, club they are at. You know, that's what top coaches do.
Yeah.
And older style coaches do that. You know, you look at Antonio Conte as an example. He's an older style coach. He came to Chelsea. He wanted to play the three at the back system that he went to eventually, but he didn't start off with that. He allowed the players
That's
first to
true.
stay in the system that they was comfortable with. Then when we was absolutely shit at it, he went, right, fine, now you can do it my way. And everyone says that he's a back three manager because that's what he did before Chelsea. That's what he did at Chelsea. But he's gone to Napoli. He doesn't play a back three. Plays a back four. Plays 4-3-3.
Yeah.
Because that's the players
he
that
bases
he's
it
got there.
on the team. Players are tactic, you know, like who you. For me, it's not about having the players execute a perfectly executed plan that you have devised in your head. It's about platforming your best players to make moments of magic, and that's what makes football enjoyable to watch. And you're right, it's because it's being coached out of the game in like coaching courses, and it's being coached out of the game in the players. Yeah, it's not a good vibe. It's not a good time.
I mean, I've said it before. Maresca walks around with the swagger of prime Mourinho, but coaches with the tactical nous of Frank de Boer. It's just ridiculous. I mean, I did some digging this week and found out that during his time at both Leicester City and Parma, he actually also criticised the fan base at both clubs. I mean, it's a recurring pattern.
Both fan bases hate him.
Yeah,
That's
that's not healthy because it sort of suggests like it's not great.
Yeah, if you fall out with everyone, you're the common denominator.
Yeah, that's usually a thing.
What's funny though is we're so data driven that nobody, when we was appointing him and put him on a short list, obviously, you know, they fancied his style of play and he worked under Pep, tick a box, brilliant. Did nobody think to look at do fans like him? Because if they looked at the Leicester fan base at the time, before we appointed him, there was discontent. Leicester fans didn't like him. They was on a really bad run of form. They was bored.
The only data we look at is the wages and if they're going down.
It's so weird though, isn't it? To claim that you're so data driven, but then you're not looking at the data that's really important.
Yeah, no, you're right. We will talk more about Mr. Maresca, but first, positives, because this is the most positive part of Chelsea, I think, the women's team. The Kingsmeadow corner as we head, because I wanted to do a quick preview of the upcoming semi-final. Of course, it's this Sunday, 5 p.m. for British time. It's the heavyweight showdown. We've seen it before, but this time it feels like the stakes are higher. I think on one side you've got obviously the reigning back-to-back champions, Barcelona. On the other, a Chelsea side that we are so desperate to break that Champions League curse and get that final, get the trophy, get what we really, really want so bad. So Barcelona, they may still be the dominant force in Europe on paper. Spanish Supercopa winners, top of the La Liga, of course, cruising to yet another Copa del Reina final. But if you dig a little deeper, cracks are starting to show a little bit. Defensive lapses, key players are off form. Questions about their new coach have left them more. What? Oh, I genuinely thought Ollie was laughing at me then.
Yeah, so did I. What's he doing?
I don't know. That's lost.
Sorry, I'm dying over here.
See, I'm leaving that in because listeners are like, what the fuck happened there?
I genuinely thought you found something really funny about their players being off form.
No, sorry. I'm just having a coughing fit. Jesus.
Oh, careful. Yeah. Are you back? Are you good?
I think so. Jesus.
Good. We love each other on this show, but we've just lost our.
So unprofessional, Ollie.
Finally, not me. Oh man,
Jesus. I'm sorry. I'll consider you guys next time. Jesus fucking hell.
Right, Ollie's back. He's good. Chelsea though, Chelsea side of the preview. We are a machine. Just one loss all season. Let's not talk about that. League Cup winners, 6 points clear at the top. FA Cup finalists. We're chasing the trophy. We might be the most complete squad in Europe right now until obviously Lauren James's injury today. Well, the update was that weren't great. But obviously, Sonia, we've got a manager who knows how to win it. We know she knows how to win it. The third straight year that these two teams have met at this stage. Obviously, we came close last time, won the first leg, fell short overall. We've got the depth, the momentum, and I feel the belief. How are we feeling? How are we feeling going into this first leg?
Nervous. I'm nervous mainly because I think we haven't performed brilliantly in a game for a while. Probably the first half of the Man City second leg was the best we've played, arguably this year. So I don't think we've been on top form. And I think if you're not absolutely at 100% against Barcelona, you're not going to beat them. They are one of them teams where you can be at 100% and still lose. They are that good. I hope we turn it on, and I hope we catch them by surprise a little. We can do it, but if there's one team who I'm never confident going into, it's Barcelona.
Yeah. I mean, they've already lost 2 games this season in their league, which is interesting because they never lose. They literally never lose. I mean, they've still scored 107 goals, so that's just in itself.
What?
Look. Yeah,
107 goals.
Yeah, the nearest to them is. This is how I'm sorry, but the Liga F is so one team. It's insane. So it's 2-team league almost. Barcelona 107 goals, 72 points. Then it's Real Madrid 70 goals, 65 points. You're like, oh, okay, competitive. Atletico 39 goals, 48 points. It's you already know who's going to be in the top 2 at the start, and it's such a shame because there's so many good teams in that league. It is what it is. I'm going to be watching. I'm going to butcher these names. I'm sorry, but for Barcelona, Salma Prolulo, she's getting form after an injury. 8 goals in her last 10. I mean, for us, it's Cuthbert, isn't it? She's a heartbeat, and when she plays, we win. Well, usually we win. But the thing is, when we haven't had her in the team, that's when we've suffered the most this season, especially in the WSL. So I just feel that I think keep it. If you're gonna go when you're in Barcelona, I think if we can win, that's the best thing. I think I would be happy with a draw because
thing is, we won there last year.
I know.
And they still knocked us out. That's how good they are.
They are ridiculous.
I think to have even half a chance, you can't be going in with a 1-goal deficit, more than a 1-goal deficit into the second leg.
No, honestly, I think to beat this Barcelona team over 2 legs is borderline impossible. That's why they keep winning the Champions League, because I think if it was a 1-leg, if you're playing them in a final, I think you've got a better chance of beating them in the final than in the semis.
I can see
they're
the logic.
so good across two games, it's harder to win.
Yeah.
I mean, they beat us 4-0, 1-0, then we drew, beat them, and then lost 2-0. So that's our history with them. It's tough. It's going to be a tough game. It really will. I cannot wait to watch that, especially because I'm pretty sure I know what Chelsea the men's team are going to serve up previously in the afternoon, if I'm really being blunt. And on that,
if anyone can do it, it's us. Let's put it that way.
I fully agree. I fully back that. Right. So midweek match report, because we took on Legia Warsaw in the Conference League second leg. Chelsea, ladies and gentlemen, possibly the first club to be booed into a European semi-final. A team so spectacularly confused by their own existence that they stumbled into progress with all the grace of a swan tumbling through a trampoline park. The Blues lost 2-1 at home to Legia Warsaw, a side currently ranked 5th in the Polish league, presumably powered by hopes, dreams and a stray tactical PDF document from 2017. Enzo Maresca, Chelsea's philosopher in residence, turned accidental chaos conductor, fielded a full-strength lineup like he was trying to prove a point no one asked about. Cole Palmer, star boy turned ghost, extended his goal drought to 15 games. He missed early, limped later, and looked as haunted as a Victorian lighthouse keeper. Chelsea's defending was equally cursed, a wild blend of mistimed headers, psychic confusion, and that familiar, oh no, not again, energy. A penalty from Thomas Peckard gave Legia a sniff of the impossible. Stamford Bridge responded with a sound best described as a collective groan coated in mild regret. When Mark Cucurella, now somehow Chelsea's top scorer in 2025, yes, really, equalised, the crowd offered a single clap and a sigh. But the defensive carousel kept spinning. Steve Capuadi punished some truly interpretive set-piece marking to make it 2-1. My man, Philip Jorgensen, the Jorgenaut I call him, he was deputising for Sanchez in goal, but he looked like a man learning to juggle knives mid-game. He nearly gifted Legia more hope with the poise of a YouTube tutorial gone wrong. Reece James, he's our captain, he called it a poor performance and hinted that they might have disrespected the competition. Disrespected? Chelsea tried to write it a breakup letter. In the end, Chelsea limped into the semis, not with pride, not with power, just with the kind of reluctant forward momentum you see when someone realises they've left the oven on. Champions League dreams, feels galaxies away. Chelsea won. Legia Warsaw 2. That's right, listeners. 2. They won. They won the game. Winners and losers. And we kick off with the winners as always. I'm primed. I'm ready today. Who have you got? How many have you got in total?
I've got 2 winners and 3 losers.
Same.
1 and 3. 1 and bloody 3. Look,
Mikey's really gone for it today.
I'm annoyed. I'll tell you who my only winner is because I'll get it out of the way. Legia Warsaw fans. That's the best atmosphere. Best atmosphere I've seen at Stamford Bridge all season, hands down. You know, you had shirtless limbs, as they call it, flying in the away end, flares lighting up the night sky. Those fans, they brought noise. They brought the colour. They brought the chaos. They watched their team play with passion, grit, and a sense of identity. You know, they secured, whether you like it or not, they secured a historic win at the home of former Champions League winners. That is what they'll remember. It doesn't matter what chaos we're in. Then no one cares about that. It will still be, we beat Chelsea in their own backyard. You know, for those supporters who came over and obviously they've spent every penny spent on their flights, the hotels was worth it because they'll remember that night that they won 2-1 at the home of 2-time Champions League winners. Simple as that. Who's your winners?
Don't bring up fans though, Mikey, because I can guarantee there's someone somewhere going, oh, well, maybe if we supported our team like that, we'd be better.
Well, yeah, you know what? Maybe we would. Who? I don't know. I like to blame the weather if we lose, you know, whether it's too sunny, too wet, too windy. I mean, that's my thing. Chris, who's a winner?
Depends on why, you know, it's hard.
I've got Reece James, right? But bear with me because I thought he was actually dreadful in the game. And so he was originally he was on my losers list. But then I heard his interview after the game.
I thought you were going to say that.
You know how I've said about Maresca so many times that he manages to have a shit game and then come out and make it worse. Yes. Reece James did the opposite. He had a shit game, but he come out and he somehow made it better. I thought his interview after was really good. I thought he looked pissed off, as you should be. I thought he looked like one of the few people who understands the standards of the club and where they should be, but not recognising where they are now. And I thought he did enough to throw doubt on maybe the players, maybe the manager. You know, the comment of not taking the competition seriously, and if you don't prepare right, this is what you get. That felt
like a jab, didn't it?
That felt like a jab at either his teammates for not taking it seriously, or the coach, or Maresca and his coaching staff for not preparing the team right for the game and almost taking it as a given that we'll beat them, so we don't really have to prepare properly. We'll just fuck around in training and then we'll rock up on Thursday and beat them. Yeah. And I think it's really telling that a player who's been here when we was successful and the standards of the club was so high, I don't think he recognises what he's seeing at the moment, and I don't think he likes what he's seeing either.
You know what? Because you've said that, I'm going to actually include him on my winners list for that as well, because I watched that back and you can see he's so, some people went, oh, he's always like that. I don't think so. He's never he looked so frustrated at what he...
Yeah, he looked angry, didn't he?
What he was part of.
Yeah, he looked proper pissed off.
as much as he's had issues with his injuries and we've said about his captaincy and all that, that was a captain coming out and going, that wasn't acceptable. And you know what? That was a very much a fair, because you've got the bollocks to go and do that. Fair play, mate. You can't not respect. He's a leader. That's the difference, a leader. Ollie, who's your first winner?
First winner for me is Tyreek George. Because although he didn't play all that much, I thought he looked quite dangerous when he came on, and I like the sort of the added emphasis he's having on the team now. He feels like he's putting in. I don't know, when he first was getting cameos, he was not being as effective.
Yeah, that's fair.
And actually, I think he's really growing into the game now. So. And like into his role in the squad as well. So hopefully we see more of him.
He looks impactful now, doesn't he? When he comes off the bench.
It looks like he always looked like he wanted to make things happen, but now he actually is doing it, which is cool.
Yeah. Chris, and he scored a goal that was offside as well, didn't he?
Even when Maresca's playing him and striker like an idiot.
Yeah.
Chris, who's your final one?
Mark Cucurella.
Yeah, he was my other one.
Top scorer.
Scored.
Yeah, I was literally going to say the exact same thing. Scored in it. That's it. Yeah. Other than that, he was kind of shit, to be honest.
Yeah. Again, he was bang average, but he scored.
Scored a goal that was offside as well, which everyone was like, "Oh, it's not." I must admit, VAR just sucks the life out of it because it's just like it's probably. I still moan about it. I still don't celebrate goals when they go in now. I hate that. That sucks. Gotta be careful. You never know. It's one of those, isn't it? Right. That was our winners. That kind of suggests something, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So we move to losers. Not for the first time. Listeners, say it with me. And not for the last time. Enzo Maresca finds himself on my losers list. And we've probably all got him. But for me, my frustration started before the ball was even kicked because of the starting 11. I couldn't tell if we were 3-0 up or 3-0 down on aggregate. And you'd think, at the very least, a strong lineup means you dominate. You have a dominant performance. You're at home. Maybe extra in the second half, some minutes for the academy lads, right? Wrong. No. Instead, we watched a 2-1 defeat where Legia were the better side in almost every department to a degree. I'm not talking about a smash and grab where you think, oh, they just got away with that. No, they should have had 4 because of the chances. I mean, this is a team sitting 5th in a league, ranked 15th in Europe. That's below Austria and Scotland. I couldn't believe that. I mean, the football that we saw was turgid. The tactics were uninspiring. We already know there's no plan B, so let's forget that. And then his press conferences just sound like he's farming outrage for clicks. I won't defend it. Look, it's no agenda. I have been Maresca out for a while now, and by the looks of it, I think the players are now. The regression across the squad is impossible to ignore. Cole Palmer had an absolute stinker. I mean, he looks like he's mentally checked out and would rather be anywhere else. And I think same. I know that feeling. I'd rather be watching something else. I mean, how anyone on Twitter, and I've seen it, can defend Maresca. It hurts my soul. It hurts as a Chelsea fan, as a podcast host. I mean, look at Jackson, look at Palmer and Gusto. Those were 3 of our best players last season. All look like they've forgotten how to play football. Sure, that's got nothing to do with the man in the dugout. How stupid of me to say that. It's to do with them, isn't it? I cannot believe that it's just painful. Do you have him as a loser? I'm curious.
Of course I do.
Chris,
I actually don't, but only because I knew he'd be on.
Oh, you're Maresca in. You're like Berth. Chris.
I promise you I'm not.
Why is Berth not on the show tonight? Maresca in. No, I'm joking. Chris, why was he your pick?
Well, the lineup. You're onto a hide into nothing, I think, if you pick a really strong team when you're already 3-0 up. Because even if that team went out and we were 3-0 up again at half time, no one's going, oh, well done. Oh, that's amazing. Oh, we're back on form. Because, and then if it goes the way it did, it actually raises more questions than it would have done if he just put the kids out. If he puts the kids out and we lose the game 2-1, no one's saying anything. Everyone's
Yeah.
going off. Yeah, fair enough. Well, they played a lot of youth team players, and they was, the game. They knew they was already through, and all that usual bollocks. But I've got him more as a loser because of what happened in the Man United game after.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I just watched 90 minutes of our players completely not playing for their manager anymore. 2-1 down, there was no intensity, there was no ambition, there was no leadership, there was no understanding of if we lose this game, it's really going to pile the pressure on him. It almost looked like they wanted to lose, so the pressure was piled on him. And then you turn over and you watch Man United, and they go 4-2 down to a Lyon team in extra time who's got 10 men.
Yeah.
And you think, well, you're out. But then you see a group of players who are playing for their manager, their manager, by the way, has been horrendous so far. His record at Man United is absolutely diabolical. But he made changes to his style and his philosophy, and they put two makeshift strikers up front in Harry Maguire and Kobe Mainoo. They went more direct. They put crosses into the box. They kept the pressure on. They kept asking questions of the Lyon defence. Their two makeshift strikers, by the way, a centre-back and a defensive midfielder, both scored.
Yeah.
And they went through. They not only did they go through, they won the game. They scored 3 goals in 6 minutes. They scored more goals in 6 minutes than we have in the last 2 games.
Yeah.
So you just think, what are we doing? That's a team, by the way, who are their season's effectively over. They're playing in the Europa League. They've got a manager who's barely won any games, but the players are still playing for him. And you can see that in some of their results when they've been in the bigger games, they've turned up. And it doesn't mean I think he's any better. But it does mean that he obviously is motivating his players better and has got them behind him. Maresca seems to be doing the opposite. I don't see a single player who looks like they enjoy playing for him. When he makes substitutions and they come off and they do the whole handshake high five with the manager, they never look him in the eye. They walk straight past him. They'll stick out a hand for the cameras and give him a high five, great. But they never look at him. Jackson, every time he gets subbed off, looks annoyed. Jackson sat on the bench on his phone, by the way. I don't know if anyone caught that.
I'll touch on that in a minute.
Again, complete disrespect to the manager, to your teammates. Anyone said anything? Nah. He's not a leader, Maresca. He's a moron. And I don't understand how anyone is defending him at the moment. Yes, we all know the sporting directors are shit as well. Yes, the recruitment's been poor. Yes, there is problems within the squad. But he has took our good players and made them worse. And that is all on him. If Cole Palmer, we just use him as an example, 15 games now without a goal after how good he was last season. If he was the only player off form, even I would be saying, well, no, that's more on Palmer because everyone else is playing all right. But they're not. Palmer's off form. Jackson's off form. Neto's off form. Madueke's up and down. Sancho has been absolutely dog shit for most of his time here, aside from a few moments and a couple of assists against Legia Warsaw. Gusto, off form. Reece James, not a midfielder. Neither keeper looks like they've ever played in goal before. There's more players off form than on form. The only players performing under Maresca consistently are Cucurella, Caicedo, and Enzo Fernandez. That's it. 3 out of an entire squad of players. That's on the manager, and that's not good enough.
No. Ollie, I want to know who your first loser is because it's not Maresca.
It's not, but just quickly on Maresca. I think he doesn't deserve to stay. I think you can't defend what he's doing at the moment. A lot of his selections are bizarre. His in-game management is bizarre. The more he's coached them, the worse they've got. And I'm personally of the opinion that if you do sack Maresca, you have to get rid of the sporting directors as well because they've built the squad and they hired him.
Yeah.
So, it's all got to come down if it's going to come down. Let's put it that way. My first loser is Jorgensen.
Oh, yeah, dreadful.
Because
Fuck me.
it takes yeah. It it takes
a sad horn.
It takes a special kind of performance to make me go, you know what, Robert Sanchez would have done better here. Because he was dreadful. Poor for the penalty, both in giving it away and in failing to save it, because it's a poor pen and he should reach it. And then he just never really got his confidence back. And yeah, just I don't know. He seems he's another one who had promise, who's kind of playing within himself at the moment. No one seems very confident. That's important for goalies, and you can kind of see the lack of confidence right now is costing us a lot.
I think he was very lucky not to give another penalty away as well, by the way.
Yeah.
I can see, because it's one of those where I think VAR was right not to get involved to make it a penalty, but I think if the referee gave it, they wouldn't have overturned it either.
Yeah,
because it's one of those sort of borderline ones.
Yeah.
My second loser, not for the first time, listeners, and not for the last time. Standards makes my losers list because absolutely embarrassing. Like birth tells me, do I ever get annoyed at a game? Very rare. Very rare. I'm like sort of like, that's annoying. And then I get over it. This pissed me off because it was embarrassing. It was on a night where everyone needed to show some fight. And, we've touched on it. Cucurella and to a degree, Sancho can look in the mirror realistically and say, look, I did all right, Mike. Yeah. You know what? I'd probably maybe I'd nod at Cucurella. Sancho, yeah, all right. The rest, get in the bin. I mean, one player who caught my eye, and Chris has touched on it, he really caught my eye for all the wrong reasons, was Nicholas Jackson. Absolute shocker.
Yeah.
I've got stats. 0 touches in the box, 0 shots, 0 chances created. And then the thing that Chris touched on, I thought this couldn't get worse for him. He's off. He's finished. When I say he's finished, he's on the bench. He's finished his game. He gets subbed off. Camera catches him on the bench, scrolling his phone during the game. I mean, the audacity.
Shouldn't even have it on it.
That pissed me off. That pissed me off because I know to some that might seem small. It really might be like, really? But for me, that screams volumes out. I mean, there's no respect. There's no engagement. I mean, there's an entire match going on and you're maybe checking TikTok while you're waiting. It's like you're waiting for a bus. I saved the scrolling for the dressing room because you can do that. You can do it all the time. No one sees, no one cares. You're on your phone in there. Brilliant, whatever. I've never seen a player do that before in an active game. I hope I never do again. And you know what, Maresca, you can come back onto the losers list here and be like a 0.5 on this one. Because why are you allowing that? You're the manager. Tell your player, put the phone away. Why he's got it, I don't know. But the game's still being played. You bollock players for passing forward. You threaten to bench them. And yet we're allowing this. I was fuming. I know a phone, but I was fuming because the standards are falling through the floor. It's just ridiculous. I'm sure. I've really annoyed me.
The standards of this football club, though, have died.
They're fucking gone.
And it starts at the top. I don't think the owners actually understood what they was buying when they brought it. I don't think the sporting directors understand the standards of the club. When you look at the recruitment strategy, it doesn't scream top 4 team. It screams top 8 team, if you're lucky. Buy cheap, sell high. That's what the other clubs are there for. That's what Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Man United traditionally, Chelsea. We don't do that. We let Brighton and Brentford, we let them do that for us. They buy them cheap, develop them, then we buy them. Yes, we buy them at a higher price, but they do all the work for us. That's why. And then they come to us and they help us win stuff. That's how that works. The manager, honestly, I don't know I don't know what he's doing about standards, but because they're not there, I don't think the players understand the club that they're at, and I think it's filtered through to the fan base now. I think there's a large portion of the fan base who have been brainwashed into this whole project. You know, if we give it time, it'll work. Which there's no evidence to suggest that that's true. Some of them are talking about hiring and firing doesn't work. It's not the modern way, but it is, because it still happens outside of a couple of clubs. Clubs hire and fire. That's what they do. Like a manager's shelf life is 3 years. That's it. And
Yeah.
I actually think probably when you did some research into it, I think that average has probably come down. I don't even think it's 3 years anymore, unless you're successful. That's the key. Any manager who has stayed at a club for over 3 years, it's because they've achieved stuff. Klopp, Pep, even Thomas Frank at Brentford. Do you think if Brentford had got relegated, Thomas Frank would still be there? Probably not, because they would have sacked him before they went down, trying to survive. That's how it works. That's why teams down the bottom are doing it. You know, if you're a team who expects to survive and then you look like you're going to get relegated, you sack the manager. That's what happens. The only time you don't get sacked is if you're good. Maresca's not good. We don't need a project manager. With the current state that we are in, we need a manager who is going to come in and get those standards back. They are going to understand that every time you walk on the pitch in a Chelsea shirt, you have to win the game. Doesn't matter that it's a dead rubber against Legia Warsaw. You cannot lose to them at home. That's not the standard of this football club, because it's major news when you lose. And that we need a manager who's going to come in and maybe they won't be as tactically evolved as these modern coaches, which is a load of bollocks as well. But they will understand the standards of the club. They will understand where the club wants to get to and how the players have to behave to get there. We don't need a project manager. You cannot put a young, inexperienced manager in charge of a young, inexperienced squad and expect to finish high in the league. It's just not going to happen. It's lunacy to think that it is. It's never worked for anyone in the history of football ever.
Chris, who's your second loser?
Cole Palmer.
Ghosted.
And as much as I blame Maresca for his drop off in form, I do think we're at a point now where he has to start taking some responsibility.
Yeah,
And
I agree with that.
I liken it to the Nkunku situation. Nkunku gets a lot of stick, and rightfully so, for looking disinterested and not bothered. Cole Palmer looks exactly the same. Cole Palmer looks like he doesn't want to be on the pitch. Last season, he looked like every time you watched Cole Palmer play, he wanted to be on the ball. He was trying to make things happen. He looked like a kid playing in a playground. Now he looks like someone going to work. He's doing the bare minimum he has to get through the game. He doesn't go hunting the ball anymore. He's not demanding the ball. When he gets it, he doesn't try to do anything special. He just keeps it very simple, doesn't really want to give the ball away. And that could all be on Maresca. What isn't on Maresca, though, is the fact that he can't hit a barn door at 6 paces. Some of the chances he's missed over the last few games for his standard has been unforgivable. The one he missed in this game after 1 minute and 30 seconds is unforgivable. It's an awful miss. For a player of his quality, he should be putting that away. And as much as I blame Maresca, he has to take some responsibility, because you can't just keep playing shit and then going, well, I don't like the manager and I don't like the system. You've got to find a way of playing well within that system until he ain't here anymore. Otherwise, you won't be here anymore. And at the moment, he looks like a player who's thinking about a summer move. I hope that isn't true, but he doesn't look like a player who's fully committed to the team at the moment.
No. I mean, anything to add to that, Ollie, or do you want to go with your second loser?
I mean, not really. Chris really covered it. He's just been poor lately. And it's unforgivable. You can't be the best player in the Premier League, as people want to call you, if you're not performing. You have to find a way. You know, I personally I don't doubt that Palmer will come back from this kind of dip in form better and stronger and more resilient for it. But he just needs to, it's a case of when you're going through hell, keep going. My second winner today was wastefulness. So as is a, sort of a going on from Palmer's miss. I actually thought for portions of the game, I actually thought we moved the ball okay. Shifted it around quite quick. There were a few nice patterns in there, a few nice, showing where like people like players knew where they were supposed to stand for once. And then we get into the final third and we just shit the bed. Like we just, we either don't enter the box or we pass it back or we cross it to nobody or we pull it back and it gets blocked or, or we're not finding the players in the right system. Where a player like, I don't know, where a player like Neto is going to be. He's going to be either on the wing or he's going to be running in behind into the box. So we need to kind of like our team needs to gel together better and expect each other to be in their right positions. And do you know what yesterday's performance struck me as more than anything? Is it struck me as a team that still doesn't know how to play whatever this ridiculous style is that Maresca is trying to play. It seems to me like the players are really struggling with it, and I at the moment I can't blame them because they're playing awful with it. Yeah, that's it.
Right, I'll go my final loser then, because someone's going to say, "Will, who's going to do it?" I'll do it. The sporting directors and the ownership for enabling them. I've got to call it what it is. I mean, Winstanley and Stewart are still employed by Chelsea Football Club. Yeah, I've just checked. They are still employed, despite overseeing one of the worst rebuilds in modern football. It is that bad. We had a Champions League winning squad, gutted. A world-class manager in Tuchel, binned. And in return, we got a squad built on vibes, potential, and PSR loopholes. You cannot build a competitive Premier League team on a youth development seminar. You can't do it. And you know who let this happen? Todd Bowley and the Clear Lake Circus. They sanctioned this. They handed these two sporting directors a blank check and said, have fun. And they've had fun. Oh, my word. They've spent 1.5 billion.
At least someone has.
1.5 billion pounds spent for a team that can't reach a domestic semi-final. It got outplayed by fifth place teams in Poland and plays football so dull that Madonna was asleep at one point yesterday whilst watching us. It makes watching paint dry feel like a Super Bowl halftime show. And now we're spiraling further into mediocrity. These owners want us to trust the process. Sorry, but this ain't the process. This is a crisis wrapped in a slick PR and vision talk. You can't hire a bunch of spreadsheet salesmen, let them play Football Manager with one of England's biggest clubs and expect fans to just ride the wave out because of the process. You sold us a dream of a 100-point team. That's what you said. But the only 100 we're getting is the number of questions we have about the direction this football club is going. Experience matters in a team. Football IQ matters. Culture matters. Chelsea was built on a winning mentality, not a Silicon Valley startup model. Roman Abramovich, I understand. He's gone now. I get it. I get it. But he had flaws. He did. But he cared about one thing. What did he care about, Chris?
Winning.
Exactly. These owners, I feel like they care more about what the engagement is online, the Instagram, the amortization strategies. What's the financial part? You want to know? I saw it was like 10,000 fans didn't turn up last night. Do you want to know why? Because it's just set in. We're like, we don't recognise this club anymore. We love this club, but we don't know who it is. We don't know. And until the owners wake up, sack them two sporting directors and hire people who know how to build an actual winning team, nothing will change.
Yeah.
The main mistake I think the sporting directors have made is not recognising or trying to correct their initial mistake. The model they've gone with, I'm not completely against the trying to sign players for lesser fees who are then going to increase in value. I don't think that's a stupid thing to want to do as a football club. You know, it doesn't have to be a 16-year-old from South America. It can be like what Liverpool did with Mo Salah, for example. They signed him for 30 million from Roma, and everyone went, "Well, that's a bit overpriced." But now he's a 150 million pound player, and look what he's helped them do. The idea isn't stupid, but they tried to do it too quickly. And that's the main mistake they made was they took a squad at the time when they first came in and they ripped it apart to introduce all of these sort of potential players. And I think that was the main mistake that they did. If it was a more gradual process of right, okay, so we've got Jorginho and Kovacic in centre midfield. They're both older players, more experienced players. They're not going to increase in value. We want to go and get someone for 30 million who's going to be a 80 million pound player. Fine, great, go and get him. But let him be an understudy to those two first. And then when they naturally come to the end, he would have grown and be ready to step into to play every week. And he would have grown under the guidance of those players. So you get a better, more rounded player by the time he's ready to play in the first team. Anyway, someone like Andre Santos, for example, you bring him in and he plays as an understudy to Jorginho for even a year. You get a better version of him when he comes into the first team. I don't have to loan him to Strasbourg then because he's learnt here. And he'll just naturally, Jorginho will leave and he will step in. Fine, not a problem. But they didn't do that. They took all the experienced players and they went, right, sell, and replace him with him. What's the average age of that team? 12. That'll be fine. That'll do well in the Premier League.
Yeah.
It was stupid. You know, even some of the players who we brought before these two clowns, who we was then very quick to get rid of, Koulibaly being a prime example. Was Koulibaly a good signing? No. Would he still have a place in our team today? Yes. Because is he abundantly worse than the players who are currently playing there? No. Is he more experienced? Yes. Is he a better leader? Yes. Does he know about winning things? Yes. Does he understand the standards of a big club? Yes. So what I don't understand is they did it with Koulibaly, they've done it with Chilwell. These are players who would have helped our current players grow and be better. You didn't have to get rid of all the experienced players to bring in your young potential players. You do it as a gradual process. You do it at 3, maybe 4 a season, but they learn under the guidance of the older ones first. And then when the older ones naturally move on because they come to the end of a contract or they'll naturally reach an age where you say, right, okay, this is going to be your last season with us. You'll play this season, but then at the end of the season, we'll be looking to sell you on. Players will go, okay, fine, that's fine. They know that's going to happen. It's not a shock to players. You know, when players hit 32, they know that a club's going to sign another player to come in and play ahead of them, and they're probably going to get moved on. It's not a shock. Someone like Chilwell could be playing and then guiding a younger left back under him. Someone like Lewis Hall, for example, who we also got rid of.
Yeah.
And then it's a natural progression, but they try to do it all too quick. And then they it's almost like they are stubborn now and they have a reluctance to fix their own problem. All they have to do this summer is sign 4 players. That's all you've got to do. Sell off some of the deadwood players.
Yeah.
Mainly the ones who are out on loan and are coming back. You've got to sign 4 players. You've got to sign a goalkeeper, unless you're keeping Petrovic, which I am not against. So even then, we might even be looking at 3 players. You're looking at 3 players. You're looking at a centre-back. You're looking at a winger. And you're looking at a striker.
Yeah.
All of those players should be 26 or over. 26 or over, have played at a top European club, in a top European league, won something, probably with Champions League experience. That's it. That's all you've got to do. Go and sign 3 players. who match that criteria. The fans will get more on board because they'll think, okay, that those players actually improve us. That gives us a better chance. And it improves the players that you've already got because they will learn from those players on how to behave at a big club, how to deal with pressure, how to perform when it matters, and actually how to be a better player. That's what happens.
You know what? You'll be really glad to hear that this morning I read that Chelsea are keeping tabs on River Plate's 17-year-old midfielder Franco Mastantuondo. He has a release clause of 38.5 million. I like my favourite bit is which rises to 43.5 in the last 10 days of the window.
Because we're panic buying him.
I don't know why that's a thing.
I am absolutely convinced now, though, that our recruitment strategy is play FIFA career mode and see who's got good potential. Because that lad you've just said, I've brought him on a FIFA career mode before because he's got good potential on the game.
Oh, hello.
Is he any good?
I think he's an exciting prospect. I had him for 2 years and sold him, so no. He's got potential to be like in the 90s, I think, on the game. I'm absolutely convinced now that that's how we recruit players.
His potential is 88, apparently.
EA know nothing about football, by the way. So they're making a game, and whatever they say means absolutely nothing. So if we are doing that, if we are using any sort of computer game, whether it be FIFA or Football Manager, to scout players, that is absolutely horrendous, and that is the biggest sign that these people should not be in this job.
Yeah, I wouldn't even disagree. I was just looking at Wonder Kids. They had I'm going to butcher this guy's name. Was it Alan Halovic? I know he played for Birmingham City for a little bit. He was the next Messi, Xavi, Iniesta hybrid, and never worked out for him, unfortunately. But
no.
Ollie, who's your final loser?
Mentality. Just feels like mentality at the club is at an all-time low at the moment, from the fans to the manager, to the players, to the owners, even to being online, to being in the ground, to everywhere. Like, nobody really wants to deal with this at the moment. The team aren't playing well. The manager's not really getting the best out of the players. Maybe he doesn't know what he's doing. Maybe he's being led from above to be not very good based on the circumstances. Maybe other people would struggle just as much. I don't know. But the mentality at the moment is really poor. And it's difficult as well because we've had some really demoralising results lately, especially Brentford and Ipswich in the league, which, of course, now we're looking down at the table instead of up, which is never great. We don't have many games left. Feels like the season is kind of petering out. And I'm not really sure. I think it might end up being another sort of mediocre year, which isn't great.
No, you're right. Chris, who's your final loser?
I've got youth players.
Because they should have got a game.
Well, mainly because if they're not playing in this game, then you're not playing. We're 3-0 up going into the game. One of them started.
Yeah, we're not seeing any of them for the rest of the season.
No. Even Tyreek George didn't start, even though he started the first leg when it was 0-0. So how that makes sense, I don't know. Didn't see any of them off the bench either.
No.
It was
pointless.
Even the experienced players came on, even though we was winning 4-1 on aggregate at one point. And you just think, if you're not playing them now, then you're not playing them. So don't even have them on the bench anymore because it's pointless, because you're not going to bring them on. So don't have them on there. Absolutely waste of time.
Yeah, I couldn't disagree with that. Emojis. You remember when I said I was going to say a smiley face because when I dropped a Paramore lyric and said for a pessimist, I'm pretty optimistic. I was way too optimistic. Sad face, frowny face. I was grumpy. I was annoyed. Still annoyed now.
I'm going with the if a person puts their hand up, is to say halt, stop. That's the emoji I've gone with because I want to get off. I've had enough.
We're all fed up. We're all fed up here. Chris, what have you got?
I'm gonna go with the poop emoji because that was a pile of shit.
It was indeed. And of course, we now move to Birth. had a champong. Lion of the week, by the way, listeners, if you first ever time listening. Berth had a champong. Okay. Chris, you had Reece, so I think you might win just for the post game. I had Tyreek George. Ollie, you had Jorgensen. Unlucky.
Oh dear.
And the wheel went baddie as
God,
shit.
Ollie.
I'm
That's
giving this
unlucky.
Chris. I'm giving this Chris for the Reece James post game conference. I'm gonna do. I'm serious. Well, unless we give it Kukurea.
It's really tough, isn't it?
No one
'Cause
deserves it.
No one actually.
No,
I'm
they
giving
was all
right.
shit, weren't they?
So I'm giving Chris the winner this week. Actual Lion, no one gets one.
None.
None, because
Yeah.
it wasn't.
I think, yeah, good.
Yeah.
A Legia Warsaw player. Do you know what? Their number 5 in centre midfield I thought was outstanding.
I couldn't disagree. I'm pretending that I can't remember. I'm trying to wipe yesterday from my memory. But what I won't wipe from my memory is this weekend we have a game. We're heading to Craven Cottage to take on Fulham. So they're sitting in ninth. We do play where they are ninth. They have a record of 13 wins, 9 draws, and 10 defeats. Recent form is 2 wins and 3 defeats. Who should you keep an eye on? I would say Alex Iwobi. He's reborn since leaving Everton, and he's been at the club 2 years, has 8 goals, 5 assists in the league this season. He creates chances. His assists are actually below his expected assists, which sort of suggests finishing is the issue for other Fulham players. Last time Fulham beat Chelsea in the Premier League at Craven Cottage was on the 12th of January 2023. Hey, it wouldn't be a preview without me telling you what was the UK number 1 hit when this happened. And it was Wham's Last Christmas, because technically the UK number 1 chart wasn't officially released for that week till after the game had been played. So that's why it was still technically number 1. But late that night, it was Escapism by Ray was number 1. I'd never heard of it.
Nope.
I gave it a listen. I still don't know what that song is. I didn't even, never heard of it. Still don't know.
That is one of the songs of all time.
It is one of the songs. So what we predicting? We've got to predict someone's going to play well here. I
don't know. We could someone could go really bold and just predict no one, like that we won't find one.
Oh, my word. Can you imagine if we did?
If you pull that off, that would be very
Come on, Will.
pessimistic.
Don't play
I abstain from voting.
Wow. The wheel
Stop
is saying Nicholas Jackson. Well, I hope
to
he's not on his phone.
Chris. We all have to.
Yeah, I hope he's not going to be sat on his phone.
I'm going to go with Cole Palmer. Please, God, let me be right.
Oh, Palmer.
Please let
By
me.
the way,
Oh.
if Nicholas Jackson scores against Fulham and doesn't do the selfie celebration, that he's really missed a trick there.
I'm gonna go Pedro Neto. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I saw Wolves last week and I'm like, oh, Wolves.
God, I actually have to pick someone.
You do. You have to. It's the part of the show.
Let's go Caicedo, because he's normally a safe bet.
That's I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that a lot. So we move to Quaresma's question. First up, Tyler, who sent a DM, and I apologise because I did say this to him. I slipped my Quaresma's questions from Monday, and they've said, "How is it going, gentlemen? I'm a huge fan from Arizona in the USA. I have 2 questions for you guys. 1, if you were manager and all the current players were fit, what would your starting 11 be, and what tactic would you implement? And 2, how do you guys all know each other?" That first one's good. That's really. I was like, I like a top 2. I really like a strike force, but I don't think we could implement that because we haven't got the player to be a player alongside.
I'd be playing 3 at the back counter attack. That's what I'd be playing.
Same. I actually was going to say 3 at the back count. I like because it's exciting.
I would also be playing 3 at the back.
Yeah.
I'd be playing a 3-5-2, I think.
Oh, okay. I see. This show started because Berth and I were friends, and that's how I knew Berth. I just knew him through like being in the local area, and then he knew Chris. I don't know how you know Berth, Chris.
All
That's
Brummies
all
know
cool,
each other.
We all.
Football.
Yeah. I know. Name me a famous Brummie, and I'll go. Yeah, I know him. I personally know her. Know them. Yeah. And then
Tom Brady.
he's not a Brummie.
He is now.
He's honorary.
He's honorary. My family know Ozzy Osbourne. That's something. But Ollie,
I know Ozzy Osbourne's nephew.
Oh wow!
See, they all know each other.
Yeah, it is proven. Ollie, we knew literally from Twitter. So as much as we don't like Twitter's, what it is now, it's helped us out. Look at that.
Yep.
Got to be grateful for some. Even the most cesspit of social media produces something good now and then. I will pull out my phone because I have got screenshots of the Instagram stuff because oh my word, you really sent some in today. Like you really did. Let's go. Oh, Ben Kershaw. Should we sack Enzo, Maresca and bring Carlo back to the bridge? I don't know if it would work. I don't.
It probably wouldn't work, but I think we'd have a better chance of winning something next season.
And he'd get the standards back.
That's true. I agree with that one. Jack, what body part would you sacrifice to get Cole Palmer's form back?
Everything that's not vital, if I'm honest. Anything you can live without, get rid of it.
Yeah, my word. Another Swaney, Carlo Ancelotti. Well, yeah. Chelsea KJK. First, thanks for your bi-weekly therapy. Is the damage to this team and club fixable? I think everything's fixable. I've never believed.
Depends how long of a time
redemption.
frame you're talking about. I think. Is it fixable like in a season? Probably not. Is it fixable within like 5 seasons? Yeah, probably.
I think Jamie Carragher said it once. That actually football clubs are never as far away as you think they are. You think a team's miles away, and then they make 2 signings, and it's like, oh, they're suddenly challenging for the league. So I do think it is fixable. If you actually put anyone with a brain cell in charge, I don't think we'd be miles off. I think the main thing to do would be get rid of this clown. Your choices are you bring in a coach, an experienced coach, like I said, who's won stuff and knows about the standards, a Simeone type. Or you bring in a manager who the fans are definitely going to get behind, who's still young on the, same ilk that they want to do. But you bring them in who the fans are going to get behind. So you get that connection with the fans straight away, which is all important. And then you sign those. Yeah, and then honestly, if we sacked Maresca, got Fabregas in the summer, and gave him those three experienced players, centre back, left winger, striker, I think we have a good season, and I don't think we are then a million miles away.
You're right about the no teams too far away, and I know I'm bringing up the NFL. I remember so many teams what they say worst to first. So obviously we had some you guys might not know. We had Bengals. They were the worst team in their division in 2021. 2020. And then they went on to get to the Super. They lost in the Super Bowl the next year. But the thing is, they were the worst team in their division and then got to the Super Bowl. I know the Eagles in 2017, they won the Super Bowl, obviously beating the Patriots. They were the worst team in their division the year. But you're never too far away. Obviously, that's with a good draft and other signings and stuff. Bit similar to us, like a good transfer window, and you're just in there. That's the thing. You can always bounce back. I don't think anything's too far gone. And Sarah, have the players stopped playing for Maresca? I would say it looks like it. Yes.
Yes.
I'm not sure they ever started.
Yeah, that's so true.
Paul's asked a good one here because he's put, if it meant firing Maresca, would you guys take 8th place, losing the Conference League and missing out on Europe? I'd hate to. I can't cheer my team to lose. I can't do it. I get I know you could go, yeah, but short-term pain. I can't do it. I want us to win. I want us to be successful.
I do want us to win, but at the same time, it is going to hurt me if seeing Maresca lift that Conference League trophy like it's some sort of achievement.
Yeah,
that will wind me up.
Because I saw I'm
not going to lie. That will piss me off. Him smiling there, holding that trophy, will irk me.
Yeah. You know what pissed me off, actually? I saw on Twitter, people were going, oh, he's like Sarri. No, because Sarri, first of all, won a better competition with the Europa League. And second, we were unbeaten in that competition, playing stronger teams that are in the Conference League.
We played better football under Sarri.
It weren't the greatest, but it was better than this.
No, it was still boring, but it weren't this boring.
No. That's the thing.
I suppose at the very least, what you can say is we haven't had like a 4-0 against Bournemouth result this season. Or like a 6-0 versus City.
There's still games to come. Ollie, there's still games to come, Ollie.
We haven't
Yeah,
had
that was
that
true.
yet.
Yeah, it's the Simpsons meme. This is the worst game of the season. Worst game of the season so far.
You know what? You know what worries me? What worries me right now is apparently Lavia will play this Sunday, so that's one game under his belt. And I said that we'd get more points in our final four. I don't know if we'll get a point.
How is he fit to play already?
He's probably not.
Well, I don't think we'll get a
Honestly, my
point.
guess is he's genuinely not.
Well, that'll be even better. He gets one game, gets injured again, and then we lose all the remaining four games of our season. I'm just there going,
That's fully what I expect to happen, actually.
Yeah.
Well, all right. So we'll go straight to the end of show game. Lone Army Carousel. And what have we got? The category. We've got Arsenal, which is a bit of a shame. This is a couple of weeks ago I put this on, but hey, I had no voice here for Friday, so that's why. And there was, anyway, it doesn't matter. We had Liverpool last time we did Carousel, and this time we have Arsenal. So what does that mean? What you forgot? I forgot what we did the quiz on. But actually, it was. I want you to name the 10. Fucking hell, the 25 biggest sales in the club's history according to Transfermarkt. Fees have also been converted from euros to pounds. ChatGPT did that for me. Thank you. So, 25 biggest sales in Arsenal's history, according to Transfermarkt. Chris, you got a player for me?
This is hard.
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say it's a difficult one.
Fabregas?
11-12 season, 29.24 million. I will be nice. There's players from the 90s on here.
Oh, Jesus.
That's they don't sell for profit, do they? Not like us.
I'm going to go Alexis Sanchez.
Alexis Sanchez, 17-18, 29.24 million.
Robin Van Persie?
Van Persie, 12-13 season, 26.4 million.
Oxlade-Chamberlain.
Yes, 17-18, 32.68 million. And if you want to cry, that is their biggest sale ever.
That's crazy.
And he had 1 year left on his deal. I still felt that was hilarious. That was great signing.
Remember him?
We were battling for that signature. I remember fans were pissed we didn't get him.
He was a Chelsea fan, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Oh well.
Thierry Henry?
20.64 million in 2007-08.
20 million for Thierry Henry. Can you imagine? Emile Smith-Rowe.
Oh. 27.35 million in 24-25.
Anelka.
Nicholas Anelka. 99, 2000, 30.1 million. That was a lot of money as well back then.
That was so much money back then.
Was it Real Madrid or PSG that time that bought him?
Real Madrid. Must be Madrid.
Yeah, PSG wouldn't have had the money back then. They weren't loaded, were they?
I'm going to go. We mentioned him earlier. Alex Iwobi.
Alex Iwobi, 26.14 million, 1920 season.
Eddie Nketiah.
Yes, 24-25 season for 25.5 million.
That's too much, isn't it? Fuck me.
To be honest, there's some players on here I'm shocked that they were able to get these fees for. So,
Theo Walcott,
19.35 million in 2017-18.
Nasri.
In 11-12, 23.65.
Emi Martinez.
Emi Martinez in the 2020-21 season, 14.96. I'm guessing it was 15 million.
Adebayor.
In 09-10, 24.94.
When Man City basically bought Arsenal.
We mentioned him earlier as well. Ramsdale.
Aaron Ramsdale in the 24-25 season, 18.4 million. I keep forgetting he's not on loan. I keep forgetting that.
It's hard when the fees are so low.
You've got 11 players left, so you've got a decent amount.
Do we know what? Can you give us like what the lowest fee is, so we know how low to go?
Yeah, number 25. What's their fee?
12.9.
Fuck me. We're fucked here.
What a sale!
Basically,
What a
It's not
sale!
like you could
any
almost
player
name
they've
anyone.
sold.
Yeah, you could name almost anyone.
Joe Willock.
Oh, 21-22, 25.28 million. What a shout.
Chesney.
Chesney, Voracek Chesney, 17-18 for 15.82. By the way, they made a loss on that player. They sold for 12.9. Just want to make that out.
Patrick Vieira? I can't remember whether he
Yes.
went for free or not.
0506 for 17.2 million.
Giroud to us.
Olivier
Right,
Giroud,
we got a good
17-18,
deal for that.
14.62 million.
That was close.
They gave away one of the best strikers, most underrated in Premier League. Wow.
Colo Torre
Colo Torre,
Good shout.
09-10 for 16 million.
to Man City again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Vermaelen, Thomas Vermaelen.
14-15 season, 16.34.
Oh, remember him? He used to be like
You've
their
got
best player.
5 players left.
He never got any games, did he? Because he was always injured.
And
They sold him to Barcelona.
no more
Was it
90s
Barca he
play.
went to?
Yeah.
Who?
Vermaelen.
Oh yeah, Varmar, yeah.
He's only got 5 left.
Alex
Song.
Song for
He also
2012,
went to Barca.
2013, 16.3 million.
How many have we got left now, Mikey?
4.
4 left.
Oh, one of those players now. Oh my word, that one player. Oh.
I'm going to go with Granit Xhaka.
Yep, he's the lowest at 12.9 million in 23-24.
Really? I thought he would have gone for more than that.
3 players left, Chris.
Another one who I think went to Barcelona.
Oh.
Alexander Kleb.
Oh yes, 14.6 million 08-09 season.
I think.
So there's only 2 left.
2 left, and Ollie, you can have either one, and then we'll go to a tie break because it's not fair. Because after that, because it's obviously only one person you can get.
I can't remember if
I've only got one left.
I can't remember if we've said him already, so I'm just going to go for it. Balogun.
Oh, what a shout. 23-24 season for 25.8 million. Chris, do you think you can get a clean sweep? Clean sweep, sorry.
The only other one I could think of was Mark Overmars.
Yes, 25.2 million.
Shout,
well played, team.
I got really stuck on Barca then. They sold a lot of players to Barca.
Well, tiebreaker. I've got to the nearest number, the classic tiebreaker. How many appearances did Thibaut Courtois make for Chelsea across all competitions, according to Transfermarkt? I will go. Chris started the show, so Chris can give me a number.
That is tough. I can't remember how many years he was with us. It was only 3, wasn't it? Or 4?
It was what?
I don't know.
I think he arrived. He arrived after the year Begovic arrived, right? Was that it?
Yeah.
No, because we had Courtois and Czech at one point, didn't we?
Did he win? Did he only won 1 title with us though, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he won the Conte season, right?
Yeah.
It can't be many.
No, I don't think it's going to be loads. I'm going to go 160.
160. Okay.
I'm not going to be cheeky and just go one lower. I'm going to go with 140.
Chris, 154. You're 6 off. You are closest.
Oh,
Well done.
Well
Wow.
done, sir.
to be fair, we was both quite close there because that was hard to figure out because I can't actually remember. I can only really remember him 1 season with us.
Yeah, I was trying to remember. Like I think he signed for us. We had Courtois and Czech, didn't we? And then it was Courtois and Begovic, and that must have been like 2016-ish. So that was what.
No, hold on.
No,
so
wait, we signed him and then loaned him back to Atletico.
Yeah.
In like what 2013-14, around then.
Yeah.
So he won the title under Mourinho, didn't they? And did he win the title under Conte as well?
Yeah, he might have done actually.
I don't. What? That's like completely gone out of my memory.
He
Yeah.
definitely won the title under Mourinho because that was the first Diego Costa, Cesc Fabregas.
Well, he was the starting keeper in Conte's season, so it must have been him.
Yeah.
I'm going to check. 16, 17. Also played in the FA Cup final that we lost. Yeah, it must have been. Yeah.
I say won 2 titles. Fair play to him.
I mean, he didn't handle the exit well.
But when did he go then?
2018, wasn't it?
Yeah, so sort of 2015 to 2018-ish. 2014,
Yeah.
2018. Yeah, so 3-4 seasons.
I know he shouldn't have handled it the way he did. I mean, he did say he wanted to live with close to his children, which I get. I'm not going to be cruel on him. It's just could have done it a bit better the way he did it. So
yeah, his reason for leaving was fine.
Yeah,
just the way he did it was absolutely horrendous.
No, he should have been mature about it and moved his children.
Yeah, well, he just didn't show up to training, and I'm not the biggest fan of that. Even when it's a player we want, I'm still not the biggest fan of it. I mean, Conte probably. I don't know if at least he didn't text him. He didn't do the Diego Costa text. Oh, listeners, we're at the end of another episode. And before we go, proud to remind you of our partnership with Head in the Game, help mental health charities in football, sport wellbeing and community. Check them out, headinthegame.uk. Treat yourself well. We'll be back on Monday with our winners and losers from Fulham and hopefully a win for the Chelsea women against Barcelona. Hopefully. So, till then, that will be us signing off. You've been listening to At The Bridge Pod, a Chelsea FC podcast. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram by searching for At The Bridge Pod. And if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, leaving us a review is always appreciated.